Roger Abel, question for you from Carrie, who says, I'm 72 and starting to put together a plan to find someone who can help my wife manage her finances after my death. I manage our brokerage accounts and IRAs online. My wife is anti-tech and has never been interested in dealing with any of the finances. We've got 4 kids, 2 that I would potentially trust to help, but they live out of state. I've worked with a firm in the past, but I thought they were too expensive. I'm curious what you have seen to be successful for other couples.
We've ran into this a lot. I think what you're doing is good in being proactive to find somebody to turn over the work you've done over your lifetime to help your spouse. And I think one of the questions here is you asked, what have you seen other successful couples do? One of the first things I would ask, Carrie, is what does too expensive mean? Like, were you paying a 5% commission? Were you doing advisory kind of like what was happening that you thought it was too expensive? Because most data shows that a financial advisor generates north of 3% of value per year. So I'm trying to figure out what this advisor, that's a Vanguard study that's out there. You can find it online.
Okay.
That said, how do you transition it? This may be a situation where maybe you transition 1 or 2 accounts. They say, hey, I'm willing to pay an advisor, test run this relationship and get my wife comfortable working with somebody. Now, it doesn't have to be all or none. Most advisors would take your IRA account, let's say. They manage your RMDs for you, whatever it is.
Yeah.
They can take them for a desk drive. And I've seen that in the past. And a lot of times what happens, they end up turning over everything over a period of time because one thing's going to happen. Our mental faculties, you're 72 and you're on the ball now. In 4 years, you might not be.
Yeah.
And that might be another reason for you to explore hiring a financial advisor now so that when you're not capable of doing it, somebody else is already there and you're not trying to select somebody.
Yeah. It's interesting. I had somebody close to me who had a similar situation roughly around the same age, and they thought they had a lot more time than they did. Then they were diagnosed with terminal cancer, and they continued to just sort of string things out a little bit further, and they ended up going to the grave without having completed the one job they wanted to take care of, is make sure that all of the things were buttoned up. And it became difficult because you had somebody, the surviving spouse, who was intelligent, but not the financial one in the family. And so having to turn around and then rely on people, from a long distance away who they may have met once or twice but didn't have a relationship with, it can be really kind of a difficult thing.
That's a great point, Doug. And I think that it's very common to have one financial driver in the household, and you don't want to fix your snowblower during a snowstorm. Basically, you want to do this planning ahead of time. That's why I really like Carrie's question here. It's such a common question. I would think that Carrie could get a financial plan for little or no cost and kind of determine who he wants to work with. And ultimately, it's got to be somebody that the wife likes. But the cost, thanks to the microchip, Doug, the cost of financial planning has come down. That Carrie could go in and get a financial plan even before he decided to work with somebody.
Yeah.
And ultimately, we've had situations, Roger, you've had numerous situations where we have really smart gentlemen come in. We have super savvy, smart guys come in alone. And the number one question we ask them is,
Where's your spouse?
Where's your spouse?
Yeah.
There's no way to do a financial plan without the spouse.
There's 4 things that people should think about here. There really are, because I don't care who you are. At some point, you can't do this yourself. Seriously. Like, you can. If you're 80 years old and you start to have dementia, you trust yourself.
Yeah.
You won't know. You'll still think you can do it, but you probably can't.
You won't
so you should have a plan. There's an added benefit to work with an advisor. It's simplified account structure, right? We're getting everything combined into one spot. Also, Carrie, you should have a clear checklist or after me guide. In my house, it's the blue book.
I was going to
The
bring
blue
that up.
book. If something happens, here's everything. And guess what's on the first page? Here's the people to call.
Mm-hmm.
Even if the document's not in there, they'll help you locate it.
Mm-hmm.
What's in there? Life insurance, investments, all the legal documents, who the auto and home is with, like all those things that can help carry you through. It's probably the most important part of this.
My blue book has a picture of you
Me?
and Mark Hunter kind of chopped up side by side. And they're glamour shots, too. They're very, very nice pictures of both of you.
Yeah. Here's the other thing, too, Carrie. You know, I think sometimes, and you've done a good job accumulating assets, you've done a good job investing your money, it's hard to pass the torch.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and when someone comes in here and has done everything themselves, they want to turn it over. One of the things I let them know is I'm not here to replace you. I'm here to complement you. We're not trying to replace what you've done.
Mm-hmm.
Let's complement what you're doing. And maybe there's investments out there you've never even considered. Maybe we help you with some of that stuff. So I think get involved, find someone your wife will trust, that you trust, that charges a fair fee. It's not going to be free, but it shouldn't be overly expensive.
Right.
And honestly, there's firms that'll probably negotiate the fee with you.
Mm-hmm. You know what, Carrie, love is patient, love is kind, love is making sure that you don't throw any extra weight on your spouse after you're gone. And if you don't want to make it, obviously crazy easy, but the whole point of it is that you love your wife and you want to make sure that she's well taken care of. This is where professionals can help. Premier Investments and Wealth Management professionals that you can count on. Just sit down and meet with them. Go to premieriwm.com. Even at 72, if you want to, just request a meeting and kick the tires. Sit down with them. They will give you a free, no obligation consultation. Go over your situation with you, and then they'll provide potential answer for you. And then you can make the decision on how you're going to move forward. But it all starts at premieriwm.com. Make your appointment online today or call 800-383-6590. That's 800-383-6590. This is Premier Investments in Wealth Management, named to Forbes 2025 Best in State Wealth Management Team.
Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor, member FINRA SIPC. The opinions voiced in this show are for general information purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which investments may be appropriate for you, consult with your attorney, accountant, and financial or tax advisor prior to investing. Premier Investments in Wealth Management and LPL Financial do not provide specific individualized tax or legal advice. We suggest that you discuss your specific situation with a qualified tax or legal advisor. Rebalancing a portfolio may cause investors to incur tax liabilities and or transaction costs, and does not assure a profit or protect against loss. Economic forecasts set forth may not develop as predicted, and there can be no guarantee that strategies promoted will be successful. All performance referenced is historical and is not a guarantee of future results. All indices are unmanaged and cannot be invested into directly. There is no assurance that the techniques and strategies discussed are suitable for all investors or will yield positive outcomes. The purchase of certain securities may be required to affect some of the strategies. Investing involves risks, including possible loss of principal. There is no guarantee that a diversified portfolio will enhance overall returns or outperform a non-diversified portfolio. Diversification does not protect against market risk. Prior to investing in a 529 plan, investors should consider whether the investor's or designated beneficiary's home state offers any state tax or other state benefits such as financial aid, scholarship funds, and protection from creditors that are only available for investments in such state's qualified tuition program. Withdrawals used for qualified expenses are federally tax-free. Tax treatment at the state level may vary. Please consult with your tax advisor before investing. Forbes' Best in State Wealth Management Team's ranking was developed by Shook Research and is based on in-person, virtual, and telephone due diligence meetings and a ranking algorithm that includes a measure of each team's best practices, client retention, industry experience, review of compliance records, firm nominations, and quantitative criteria, including assets under management and revenue generated for their firm. Investment performance is not a criterion because client objectives and risk tolerances vary, and advisors rarely have audited performance reports. Shook's research and rankings provide opinions intended to help investors choose the right financial advisor and team, and are not indicative of future performance or representative of any one client's experience. Past performance is not an indication of future results. Neither Forbes nor Shook Research receive compensation in exchange for placement on the ranking. For more information, please see www.shookresearch.com. Shook is a registered trademark of Shook Research, LLC.